Mandalore is a war zone. Bo-Katan, a former member of the Death Watch, now leads a charge to take her homeworld back from the Shadow Collective that runs it. More specifically, the head of the operation, Maul. The fallen Sith used the people of Mandalore as a crutch to rise once more, and it was after his killing of Pre Vizsla sometime earlier that she realized his true intentions. Kryze separated herself from Maul and his blinded followers, and now she sets to remove his influence once and for all. Yet she realized that Maul had gathered a large force in his time ruling from the shadows, and what forces she had just weren't going to be enough. She then turned to Ahsoka Tano, who would soon bring assistance from the Republic in the form of half of the remarkable 501st Legion. This detachment showed their commitment to Tano by coloring their helmets to honor her, and though Bo-Katan had mixed feelings about the clones, she respected their allegiance to their commander. That allegiance was certainly going to be put to test, because Mandalorians, though they served the cause that was hidden from them by Maul, were some of the greatest warriors in the galaxy. Maybe it helped that the clones were made from a Mandalorian as well, she thought. Bo-Katan's forces alongside Ahsoka's newly formed 332nd Legion charged across the capital city in what was to be known as the Siege of Mandalore. Ahsoka Tano herself thought she would be alongside Anakin Skywalker. The pair had been reunited for only a short while before she flew here. Anakin and Obi-Wan were called back to Coruscant as the CIS had attacked the capital planet, though she secretly wished Anakin was here to see how much she had grown. She knew eventually he'd get that opportunity. Now, she had to focus on Maul, someone Kenobi warned might be near impossible to kill. The battle that took place was violent, vicious, and unforgiving, though Ahsoka had Captain Rex by her side, and an entire detachment of the 501st putting their faith in her. She would get them through it. Eventually, Tano was alone with the former Sith, yet the shady individual standing before her was not so quick in drawing his blade. He had choice words that he hoped Ahsoka Tano would listen to. Maul dug into a past that Ahsoka had wished to leave behind. He revealed that he was privy to the knowledge that she had been cast out by the Jedi Order, betrayed by those she once trusted. Yet at the same time, Ahsoka could sense an urgency and unease behind the words he spoke, almost as if the Sith had his mind on two things at once. If this was the case, it would serve as a distraction for him, not her. Though Maul continued with his monologue, eluding the mysterious Sith known as Darth Sidious, for he knows of his former master's plan, while the Jedi and Ahsoka didn't even know who the disturbing individual is. Ahsoka knew this was why she had to capture Maul, no matter what. He knew things that could potentially save the Republic, though now she could sense a dread filling the space between the two of them. Maul revealed that in spite of his hatred for him, he wasn't looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi. His target was the former Padawan of his nemesis, the former master of the lady standing before him. He wanted to kill Anakin Skywalker. That was the most important piece to the plan of Darth Sidious, and he pleaded to Ahsoka in joining him in a plot to put a permanent end to Skywalker. Rage couldn't begin to describe the emotions building within her. She reached for her lightsabers, the very same ones that Anakin had repurposed for her, and took a battle-ready stance. Ahsoka knew tapping into anger was a path to the dark side, yet Maul was testing her patience. "I see the Padawan needs one last lesson," the twisted Zabrak uttered as he activated his lightsaber blade and charged towards Ahsoka. The pair locked in a duel that was a symphony of rage, anger, and fear. The raging battle in the background between their respective armies became nothing more than background noise. Their duel would soon reach the rafters of the dome that encased Mandalore. The precarious battle was nearing an end. Both combatants could feel that. Yet who would be the victor? That was to be decided by the Force. The Force sided with Ahsoka, who thwarted Maul's attempt to escape and held onto him with the Force. The Zabrak began screaming with the calls of a madman, pleading for death in this moment as he feared the events to come. As Republic gunships began to ascend to the duel, Maul yelled out fire to a ship that had came to rescue him. And though Ahsoka was able to save herself from a doom-written fall, her grip on Maul was lost, and so was he to the city below. She looked to one of the gunships and saw that Rex was on board, and it didn't take a connection to the Force for him to see the worry in her eyes. Maul was lost, and with that, the secrets he carried dissipated. Following the apparent death of Maul, Ahsoka regrouped with Bo-Katan and Captain Rex to go over what was to happen next. This wasn't supposed to happen. This wasn't part of the plan. Maul needed to be in Republic hands. Rex showed much disappointment in what had transpired, yet he doesn't put blame on Ahsoka. He saw what happened. He saw Maul shouting a final order that would bring his own death. This is still a victory. That monster is dead, and my people now have the opportunity to rise once more. Bo-Katan admittedly only saw Maul as a menace. He was a leech that bled Mandalore dry during the time he latched on to them. I understand this is a positive for your people, Bo-Katan. The Republic, however, needed Maul alive. Without him, there's probably no chance of saving the Republic. A somber mood filled Ahsoka as her mind wandered to Anakin. She felt an unusual chill as she reached out to feel his presence. She figured that the war was finally getting to him as it was to her. The death, the destruction, it had finally reached a new level of pestilence for her. What do we do now, Commander? We need to contact the Council and tell them what happened to Maul. The men will remain here until you all are assigned elsewhere. Ahsoka had to remember that she wasn't a Jedi, that this was to be her last act as a part of the Clone War. Rex nodded in approval, and they soon made contact with the Jedi Order, who were already meeting and deliberating about the Outer Rim sieges. Mandalore had been placed among this campaign, which proved to be the most destructive era of the war. Jedi Masters and their clone legions were scattered across the galaxy. Master Plo Koon was on Cato Pneumonia, Master Ki-Adi-Mundi was on Magito, Yoda had left for Kashyyyk, and even Obi-Wan was on Utapau. Mace Windu was still on Coruscant, and he took part in discussion with Masters Yoda, Mundi, and Aayla Secura. Their conversation was put on hold once Ahsoka made contact. Combat on Mandalore has ceased, yet Maul has not been captured. Mace Windu was never careful in his word choice. He was a Jedi whose demeanor matched his strength. His displeasure to the death of Maul was evident. Maul was willing to die, even if it meant avoiding capture. I tried my best, but perhaps it was a mistake sending a citizen to lead an army. Ahsoka looked to see the response from the Masters present, yet they sat silently. Betrayed again, she thought to herself. Did you learn anything at all, young Tano? Despite the lack of respect she felt, Ahsoka informed Master Windu that Maul had made mention of Anakin. Skywalker is here on Coruscant within the temple. Whatever Maul believed, he is wrong. May I be allowed to speak with him, Master Windu? Ahsoka's wish was partly because of Maul's warning, but more so a desire to see her master one last time. I'm afraid citizens aren't allowed direct contact on that level. Your service has been appreciated. The transmission dissipated as Ahsoka turned to Rex, who shared in her feelings of annoyance. You know Master Windu. He's a tough case. You did good, Commander. We all know that. Rex's words meant a lot to Ahsoka, yet she knew they would only mean something for a short time. Thank you, Rex. It looks like I'm not your commander anymore. Ahsoka looked out behind Rex, where she could see Bo-Katan starting a cleanup job. I'll ask if there's a spare ship I can use to leave. You best see to your men. With what seemed like parting words, Rex saluted Ahsoka one last time, but she preferred a different form of a so long. She embraced the clone, who fought back tears. Goodbye, Rex. As Ahsoka prepared to set out on her own once more, hell was taking place on Coruscant. Anakin had learned Chancellor Palpatine was the Sith Lord the Jedi had been concerned about. This led to Master Windu and other Jedi Masters confronting the Chancellor. Windu would be the only one to withstand the onslaught and fight on. Soon, Anakin returned, and Palpatine set the final stage of his plan into motion. The great betrayal had taken place, and Anakin has become Darth Vader. Palpatine's first major decree following his reveal was an order meant to wipe the Jedi from existence.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
That order was sent across the galaxy to every single clone, and only clones. The Jedi weren't prepared one bit when their clone soldiers turned their blasters on them, even in the heat of battle. It was back on Mandalore, while Ahsoka was prepping her ship, that she heard distant explosions and blaster fire. She ran to see Mandalore in flames yet again. The clones were fighting Bo-Katan's forces, and she couldn't understand what happened. She then heard the familiar voice of a clone shout out,
"There's the Jedi! Get her!"
The clones were the source of the destruction, but she didn't know why. She leapt away, not too anxious to kill the soldiers that she once admired. She was now in search of Captain Rex. Maybe she could learn something, anything, from him.